What's going on, you guys? It's Boosted J. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to remove the E30 airbag steering wheel. And now I've been wanting to know this the whole entire time because I've been wanting to change my steering wheel since the day I got the car. The most common thing you hear if you have an airbag on your E30 is change your steering wheel, get rid of the airbag, quick release, blah blah blah, this and that, MTEC 1, MTEC 2, sport wheel, anything and everything that you can think of. It's all to do away with the airbag wheel. Now there's stuff online, but I'm going to show you guys straightforward how to remove this and what exact tools you'll need. So as you see, I've already done it. It's very straightforward, and it's one of the easiest things you can do to your E30 to completely change the look of your interior just by changing the steering wheel. And I'll show you guys the after when I'm done disassembling this airbag. Super easy. There's only 2-3 bolts necessarily to get the whole steering wheel off, but 2 bolts to take the airbag off. And I'm gonna show you guys that right now. So I'm gonna show you guys the tools you'll need and then we'll get into it. All right, so this is literally all the tools you'll need. Is a 3/8 ratchet right here, and extension for your 3/8 ratchet. Doesn't matter how big or small, just something. And then your 22mm socket right here. Hook that up and you'll be able to get the center nut out of the steering wheel. A 14mm wrench to disconnect your battery. I'm not sure if there are different sizes for the E30, but mine was a 14, and you just disconnect the ground and let it sit for a minute, and then your power will disconnect. A regular pair of pliers, doesn't need to be anything crazy, and then a Torx T30 bit screwdriver. So this is literally all you'll need to complete this whole thing. Now, when you are removing the steering wheel, to get to the center nut, you'll need a 22mm socket, and this extension will help you fit, inside to reach the socket. You may need a breaker bar for this, so basically it's just a longer 3/8 ratchet, and that's about it. I was able to get it off with some force on just a regular size 3/8. So yeah. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to disassemble the airbag and pull the wheel off. So this is the back of the steering wheel right now, and you see this connection here. I'll get to that later. So I'm just gonna tuck this to the side. But you're gonna be looking at your wheel like this in the car. And so you're gonna put your hands right back in between here, so like right here, and use your fingers, and you can feel 2 holes right in the sides. And then if you can open up the door and look on the back of the steering wheel, and you'll see there's 1 hole here and 1 hole right there. And this is where your Torx T30 comes into play. So while the steering wheel is on the car, of course, you get your Torx and you just start cracking those bolts loose, and then you just unscrew it until your airbag starts to start flopping out. And you'll see it because it'll be still on the car. And so you do the one side first. It doesn't matter if you do it evenly or not. It's no big deal. And so you do one side and then you do the next side. And then I think that's about good. So next, now that your steering wheel is like this on the car, you can pull the airbag off. Not yet, still need to loosen up the bolts some more. So that one's good. And that side is good now. So now, your steering wheel will be sitting on the car just like this, and then you'll just grab the centerpiece and wiggle it, and then you'll have it just like this, and you'll see this orange clip here, and this is where your pliers come into play, because I personally couldn't get it off by hand, so I just got the pair of pliers and grabbed it and pulled the pin. So basically you just grab it and pull straight up on the pin, and there's your complete airbag assembly right there. Easy as that. So now that you have your whole airbag assembly out, just get it and move it to the side. You don't have to worry about that blowing up in your face. So now this will be the point where this is what you'll see on your car, and this is where your 22mm and 3/8 comes into play. Your center nut will be right there. Make sure to pull the key out and put the steering lock on for this step, and you just hook up your 22mm and loosen that thing up until the bolt comes off. Now everyone says leave the bolt, with like a couple threads still on there so you can pull the wheel off, but I didn't do that, and I haven't had an issue with it smacking your face. But if you want to be safe, go by all means do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So basically, when you pull the steering wheel off, make sure to put the key back in and disable the steering lock, or else you will not be able to get the steering wheel off with the lock on. It's just not possible. So turn the key, take the steering wheel lock off, take the nut off, and pull the steering wheel free. And then you will have your center console there with the steering column and just the stud there for your new steering wheel. So if you guys are gonna convert to an MTech 1 steering wheel like I have, you're gonna need a few pieces that I can't show you because they're already on my car, but I will put up pictures so you guys know what exactly you'll need. All you'll need is a crush washer and a spacer, and the spacer is only needed for is so you can thread the bolt completely down and have the wheel clamp down, because if you do not use a spacer, the bolt actually has is a poly lock bolt, so it won't actually thread all the way down on the stud, and your wheel will just rattle back and forth like this, and obviously you can't drive like that. So you put the spacer into play. You put the spacer, the washer, and then your 22 millimeter nut. Now they say every time you remove the nut that you need to replace it, but since it's a poly lock nut, I just threw it back on there, and then on top of the poly I just put some medium strength thread locker and tighten it back on there. And I didn't torque it down. I don't usually torque things to spec. I just use, you know, feel, and that's about it. And after that, you can reconnect your battery, and your steering wheel is now on the car. So I'll show you guys that.